What is going on, everybody? Thank you for tuning in to another edition of On the Road to Victory. I am your host, Jimmy Smith, and I hope you're all having yourselves a great weekend. We are here Saturday afternoon, waiting for some playoff football. Of course, the Eagles aren't in it, so just completely made me miserable. And I've been miserable all week. I'm not going to lie to you. I am literally just trying to suppress all of this pain with as much Eagles content as I can possibly give you. So, hopefully you enjoyed all of the stay or go for the free agents, the coaches. We had 66 coaching candidates, head coaches, offensive coordinators, defensive coordinators. Go check that stuff out. There was a sicko season video just explaining some of the key dates throughout the offseason, some of the shows you can come to expect throughout this offseason. We'll be breaking everything down that we possibly can. But one of the things I like to do every single year is take a gander here at this cap space. And you know, I do my best to keep you up to date with all of that stuff, but right here, right now, in this time, this is the perfect time to sit here and try to explain some things to you, show you how we not only have cap space right now in the future, but how we can create even more. We're talking close to 40 million. That's right, 40 million in cap space that the Eagles can create here, and I'm going to show you 15 ways they can do things. Then I'm going to show you the 10 moves I think how we should and how we can get to that almost $40 million. So appreciate each and every one of you taking the time. Hope you're having yourselves a fantastic weekend so far. You have any questions, any comments, feel free to get them in. Hello, Teresa. China in the building. Let's go, birds. My man Dankin here. Let's go, baby. Saturn Day. Ooh, all right. And look, you know, I wanted to put this show out the other day, but some other things, took precedent there, talking about the coaches and some of these free agents and things that people had a lot of questions on. And I know you guys have a lot of questions here. So we're going to jump in front of this bad boy. And if you have any questions throughout this stuff, I'm here for you. Let me know. Try to make this as simple as I possibly can. I will explain some further year stuff, but we try to look at just this year, what we can do for the Eagles here. So, yeah, we're all sick and it's going to suck. I've been making parlays today and doing DFS stuff, and I just miserable at all times. I just not happy about it. So we're going to keep going like it didn't happen. Now, let's take a look at what the cap space looks like for right now, and we'll take a look at a couple of years into the future, what we're playing with here, how we can sign people heading into free agency in a couple of months, what we can do here, and Howie's going to be doing a lot. And we already looked at all of the free agents we have, 22 of them. And I don't think that many of them come back, just a handful there that we talked about. And, that obviously is going to leave a lot of holes. Clearly, I would love to fill a lot of those in the draft. We've got 8 picks this year, 8 picks the next, but we've got some money to spend too. So bring in some free agents, some younger veteran players, and let's get this ship sailing the right way. But here you go with the cap space for the next few years here. You can see this year right now, we got about 28.5 million. You see the next year over 41 mil there, and then almost 70 mil the next year. So look, these numbers are going to change. You're going to sign players. You're going to draft players. All kinds of things are going to happen. You're going to have the cap space going up, or just the salary cap in the NFL going up. You're going to have all kinds of stuff happening where, these numbers will change, and I'll keep you up to date with all of it. But this just shows you, you'll hear people, oh, that Jalen Hurts contract. Like, well, I wish you understood this, because the restructures, all of those things were built into that contract. We talked about that contract, broke it down. And it's funny to see people saying that stuff because, they're saying we don't have cap space right now. And unfortunately, we do, as you can see, $28,543,046. So, yeah, we've got some money, but hell, why not create some more, dude? So we're looking at right now having around, $65-70 million in cap space if you were to do all of these things. Now, I don't think that all of these moves are going to be made, but a lot of them could be. So just keep in mind, we've got a lot of moves that can be made, whether that's trade for a Patrick Queen, sign somebody you really like a L'Jarius Sneed in free agency. We can get some of these top players because we have the ammo to do it. So let's talk about what we can do. But first, I know some people have had a lot of questions about a lot of players. So I did this. I put 15 players, and I was like, you know what? I better add in a few more just to, be able to talk about them and explain why we're not cutting someone, trading someone, doing whatever you're hearing, from people in the media. So look, we're going to talk about those. Now, there's one person you're going to see later in the show that I know you want to know about, but I didn't do this till after, so it's kind of all whatever. You'll see what I'm talking about. Well, one player, I'm very surprised. Every year we make the joke. Here comes the Lane Johnson restructure. Here it goes with the extension. This year, I don't know that actually happens because that's not really going to do anything for the Eagles. So this is what it's going to look like, ladies and gentlemen. You will see. There's their name, their position. You see the years remaining on their contract, their age, their cap hit. So you know what's going on there. And then you see 4 different methods here. You can restructure, extend, cut, or trade. Now, within the cutting and the trading, there are pre and post June 1st cuts and trades there. So keep that in mind. We'll explain it. But obviously, you're not cutting or trading Lane Johnson. But one thing we do is try to restructure or extend. We move that money around every damn year with him. This could be the first year. So just wanted to let you know that he could be just sitting there at the 16.1. I mean, if they really need to get that 200,000 and want to move some money around. Now, excuse me. Now, keep in mind, a lot of times when you see moves made like Jordan Mailata, when they did that last year, it's like, oh, well, now wait a minute. Why would they restructure him? Because it wasn't really, doing anything to the cap space for us at that moment. So you got to look further down the road sometimes. And I think that, obviously Lane Johnson has, let's say 4,272 times been restructured, moved around, whatever. But he gets upfront money with that. So that's why he does it. And, you can create cap space in the future, but you already have cap space. So, I mean, if they want to, again, restructure him, they can. They would save 200 this year. And then next year, you could save around 3.2 mil, or the following year, 6.1. So you could save money by moving this money around if you're looking to the future. But I don't know that this is one of the moves that's actually made for once, because there's other things that you can actually do. So now on to the next player, AJ Brown. I've been seeing a lot of people, a lot of the haters out there talking about how the Eagles will be moving on from AJ Brown. Like, what? So 26 years old, 3 years left on the contract, $12.4 million cap hit. So you can see here, if you traded him, yeah. So if you cut him post June 1st, you're still taking on that 11.6 mil in dead money. You're not saving anything. And then the same goes for post June 1st. You're taking on, you have 10 and a half here in dead. Now you're saving 1.8. So that essentially just means you're losing $8.5 million to trade him away. The guy you just traded for, the first round pick. And what? No, we're not doing that. So as you can see, that is just preposterous. You could restructure him this year. Same thing goes where you're not saving much money this year, but it would clear up 10 mil the next year. But all you're doing when you do that stuff is kicking the can down the road a little bit. And this year, we actually have like only around 4.5 in dead money, I want to say it is. So yeah, you don't really have to do any of these things right now, but if they're looking in the future and need to, maybe they could. And then the last one I want to talk about here before we get into these guys is Darius Slay. And he's got 2 years left, but here's the issue when people talk about, getting rid of Darius Slay. Look, you're losing money. Whether if you're doing anything pre-June 1st, you are massive amounts of money, dude. We're talking almost 60K. And no, we're not taking dead money to do that. Got to have a veteran here. And if you look post June 1st, you're really not doing anything there either. It's either lose 10 mil or lose around 8 mil. I'm not doing that, dude. So I know a lot of people feel a certain way, but look, he had that injury, but he did pretty damn well this year. So for me, I'm not getting rid of Darius Slay, especially because of that damn contract of his. But again, this is one of those things where you could restructure him and open up money later down the years. If that's something you want to try to do, they could definitely do that. But for this year, what we're focused on in this show is how we can create cap space, how Howie can create cap space right now. So that's what we're going to talk about. And you see, obviously, those are some names that are being talked about a lot. But let me jump over here real quick. And I always want the free agency draft, all of it to start, man. I lose my mind, but I love doing this stuff. So I'm all about it. Tiffany, hello. Appreciate you. Hope you're tuning in well. But the media is going to say it, Dank. You know it. But appreciate you tuning in here, Tiff. Hope you're having a great weekend. Hope all is well on the personal side there with everything going on with you. But happy to have you here, and always happy to have each and every one of you. And yeah, they do weird stuff, man, all the time where it's like, I don't think it was Lane they did that with. Wasn't it Fletch? I want to say it was. So we talk about these moves like that could be made. And last year, if you remember, I literally talked about that happening and certain things it would mean and what you could do with that. And look, man, that's why we have these shows, just to break down what would happen if you were to do anything. And a very happy Saturday to you, Liz. Let's go. We got this party started in here. And you know the insanity's out there. But instead of just sitting there and talking about how dumb, that is, I like to show why that's dumb, right? It's like, well, you're not doing that because look at the ramifications of doing that. Like, why would you hinder yourself and make the team worse? Like, what? Blows my mind. Believe a bad product we put out. I can't either, man. I can't either. But we're going to blow right through and hope that, and Howie did such a great job. But for Sirianni and the crew to not be able to deliver with what we had. And we talked about, there's no hangover here, baby. We're going right back to the Super Bowl. Let's go. I was all pumped up. And then after the bye, we start falling apart a little bit. And it's like, and then it just gets worse and worse and worse. And every time we're talking about what they need to do, they don't do any of it. And it's just like, what? So we had a chance. It was all right there. You can't blame Howie. And I see people do it. Well, we should TJ Edwards or James Rabbit. It's like, look, man, hindsight's 2020, but we had a plan. We went out, we did it, and you can't help that all these people got hurt. You can't help that these things happened. And if they were not to have happened, I think things would have been a lot more smooth sailing. But Maddox out, all of our linebackers out, everything that was happening really messed things up. And, that's no excuse for what the coaches, did. I'm just saying, when you look at what Howie's job is, the draft was fantastic, free agency, and he tried to get CJ Gardner-Johnson back, and Gardner-Johnson was like the priority, and he's a dumbass. So he thinks he's going to get $20 million a year. Obviously, that doesn't work out for him. Comes back, and the Eagles are like, well, we just gave money to Slay and Bradbury after you told us no. And then his agency is a bunch of dumbasses. So he gets the same money, but would have got more years, more actually overall money. It was insane to me. So they fumbled the bag there, and then it screwed us. And then it just kind of had a domino effect. But you had the pieces. And how can you expect James Bradbury to have an all-pro year last year, do great, and then just fall off a cliff? Like, yeah, you don't want exactly, just be going old, but we got younger guys. We wanted to develop them under these pros. So I don't know, man. We'll see. But let's look at it, man. Let's talk about some of these players I'm mentioning here. I got 15 names, and hope you're going to enjoy this content. If you do me a favor, hit that like button. You can always subscribe down below if you have any questions, anything like that. Always here for you guys. And yeah, everybody wanted to get rid of TJ because of that Super Bowl game. And like I said then, look, you guys know I loved him. He was my undrafted star that I thought would make the team and really panned out much better than I thought he would. But I've always had a soft spot for him. Hometown kid. Oh, yeah. But yeah, dude, the masses were coming for him after that Chiefs game. So it was really weird then, revisionist history. We talk about it. Everybody wanted Steichen gone. Now it's, Steichen. If you would, it's like, what the crazy. But glad to hear you're doing well, Tiffany. But this team, it's probably broken my heart, 36 out of 37 of my years of existence. So something I've grown used to, unfortunately. But we move, baby. Let's talk about it. We're starting off with the man who likes to join Lane Johnson every year and helping us out with that contract. So my man, Jake Elliott, step on up, my friend. And look, Jake, every year we talk about this, and I expect that move to be coming any day now, but he's got a couple years left. So if you want, you could extend him. Now, with kickers, I don't know, man. You never know. At one point, they could just fall off, and I don't think this kid is. I love him, man. He's been doing great. He's not much of a kid anymore, 28 years old, but you could restructure him, and you could get yourself $1.8 million. And right there, I mean, that's a good amount saved. You still hold on to him. You're not going to cut I'm not cutting or trading him. And clearly you could save more money down there doing that. And I try to show you the contract details for all of these guys just so you understand and can see it. But I will pinpoint what I think we need to do. And at the end, I will show you what exact moves I mentioned to you. And you will know exactly what we're talking about and how we save that money. But right here, almost $2 million saved with Jake Elliott restructuring that contract. And he's got a $5.9 million cap hit right now. So I definitely think that's happening. And you bring him closer to a $3 million cap hit. All aboard. Let's go. So we started it with special teams. Now we're going to go into the offense. Then we'll get into the defensive players. And it goes by order of how much money you can save here. So let's start it off with the offense. And here's a move that you're not saving much, but this move needs to happen. So let's go ahead and extend Landon Dickerson there, the left guard, who obviously, was supposed to be the replacement for Kelsey years ago. And now we got the next replacement for Kelsey here with Cam Jurgens. But lock him up. Let's go, baby. Not cutting or trading him, obviously, but go ahead and extend him. You save $500,000. You're not really saving much there, but let's go ahead and lock him up, please. And thank you. Now, I'm throwing this guy on here because I know a lot of you are hounding for this move, but for me, this is not one of the moves I'm going to make. But if you wanted to, you could cut bait here with Kenny Gainwell, and you could cut him or trade him, and you would save yourself a little over $1 million and wouldn't even cost you not even $100K in dead money there. So look, obviously you wouldn't, with that dead money, obviously you're only saving close to $1 million, but I know a lot of people are calling for it. But dude, go watch the Stay or Go show. We've got 3 running backs that are free agents out of the 4. So I'd love to have Swift back, but I don't know if he comes back. I like Kenny Gainwell. He's our best pass blocking running back we have, and he's the only one under contract. So I know a lot of people want to get rid of him. You could save some money doing it, but I don't think it's worth it. Let's see how that last year of his rookie contract goes, and we'll take it from there. But for me, I'm going to keep him around. Now up next, Fred Johnson. Here's another move just to make it 15. You could, if you find some depth here, and I think, a lot of this is going, you'll hear me say throughout the video, going to depend on the draft. So if we get some depth here at tackle, I really was impressed with what Fred Johnson did last year. Only 26 years old. He's only got a $1.2 million cap hit. So as much as you say, okay, you're only taking on $100K dead money, you save some, it's really not even that much to begin with. So if the kid's got promise, he provides depth, why not? So I'm not making this move either, but that is a way they could create space. Now, this next move, I'm definitely making. Devontae Smith, go ahead and lock this young man up. Oh, yes, please. Now, sure, you could save some money in doing that, but you just need to do it, period. So if they were high, they could trade him, save a little bit of money, but not really, because you got dead money there offsetting your saved money. So really, you're not saving much. You don't want to cut it. I mean, I'm just showing you these numbers, but that extension, baby, that's where you want to go anyway. Let's lock him up and, save a little bit of cap space in the process. Up next, my man, Dallas Goedert. I've seen some talk. Oh, we're getting rid of him. No. So if we were to try to trade him right now, $13 million is what you're losing in your cap. No thanks. If you were to trade him post June 1st, you're only saving $2 million. Or no, I'm sorry, you're losing $2 million. Nope, I'm not losing money to not have Dallas Goedert. So whoever's telling people that needs to chill the F out. And obviously you see pre-June 1st. No, not doing that. Not taking on $30 million against the cap. No. So what you do is you can restructure the young man. He's got a $9.1 million cap hit. So a little bit high, but one of the best players. And it's not insanely high or anything. Just saying Howie is a master with this stuff, keeping those cap hits low and kicking the can down the road, as we like to say. But you go ahead, you restructure Mr. Dallas Goedert here. And obviously, you save $2.2 million there, but you could extend him and save the same amount of money. He's got 2 years left. And look, he's 28 years old. I still think he's one of the best tight ends. I know he's been injured a lot of the time, but man, I just can't. So either way, I could justify either way, whether you want to restructure or extend him. But I mean, just restructuring him, right now you could save a few mil, and then you would actually, his next year's cap hit's like 11 mil. You could take 4 mil off that. So you lessen that to 7 mil. And then you got a bunch of void years after that. So you're, again, kicking the can down the road there. But I really think that, this is a move where if you want to make major trades, you're trying to really build something around Jalen Hurts and a lot of these young pieces. We're not far off, man. You're going to lose some veterans. You're going to lose some other pieces, but you've got a lot of great pieces still intact here. So I think you keep someone like Goddard around and you can create space doing that. Now, Jordan Mailata, my man. Now, you are not cutting or trading him, and you're not going to save money if you do that. So that's not what we're doing here. What we're talking about with my man Mailata is the same thing, restructure or extend. And if you restructure him, again, he's got dummy years on his contract. You're just creating space in the future. This year, you would save 2.7. Next year, you could save 5.6 on his $14 million cap hit. So kicking the can down the road would be what I would do in that situation if I am the Philadelphia Eagles. So you're seeing right now, and on offense, you're only seeing, not even 3 mil, 2.7. That was the highest amount that you could save there on offense. So you've seen that. But on the defensive side of the ball, I've got more players, but we've got more savings as well. And you're going to see how I got to, again, almost that $40 million in cap save, because you're probably wondering, what is this dude smoking? Because I'm doing the math and it ain't mathing. So let's go, baby. But let me jump over here, see what you guys got going on. And I agree with you there, China, that I'm glad also Howie does not do that. Tell me how the Eagles. Yeah, I'll tell them how that if you're going to be a diehard like me, you have to understand that heartbreak comes with being an Eagles fan. So it is what it is. I think I already clicked on these ones, but we'll just pretend. But what bothers me is every time we release player. No, it's not every time. It's just people like to pinpoint those, and they hate them when they're here. But a lot of times a change of scenery can help. Letting a player develop can help. So cutting a player before they're even in their third, fourth year, stuff like that happens. And that's why when everyone says fire and cut everyone in their first year, I'm always like, maybe we see how this goes first. So I don't understand it, but it is what it is. Yeah, no doubt. And I'm not, I don't want Kenny there, but I know I want to answer a lot of your guys' questions in these shows. So, hey, I'm glad you like it, man. And if you have any questions, I try to simplify it, and I'll talk about like the future years, but there's so many numbers that go into it in the future. And, when you're cutting these players, and I'm not talking about doing that with anybody, but I will in a second, and I'll get further. And if I'm ever trying to explain something, you guys just let me know, like if I'm not making any sense. But glad you like it, man. And I really appreciate that. It truly is. It truly, truly is. What if the Super Bowl Chiefs Packers in the world ends? Yeah, how about it? First Super Bowl. It'd be pretty wild, right? Random thought of the day. Indeed, my friend. I enjoy it. We damn sure can't blame Howie. Yeah, no doubt, man. It was a team effort, but I really thought we built something here. And I want to see the Chiefs lose. I want to see the 49ers lose. All the teams that beat us. That's where I'm at. But go Birds! Appreciate you tuning in, my man. I love it too. It's nice to have people in here that don't always want to troll me. And you guys, like, this is a good group right here. I haven't seen him any. I shouldn't have said anything here, but Dank's always bringing the good stuff. And I like the underdogs as well. I like CJ Stroud. He was my fantasy backup behind Hurts, but oof, man, that kid's shining bright. I'd like to see the Bills win it. Yeah, my best friend is a Bills fan, so wouldn't mind that either. But let's jump into this defense. Let's keep this bad boy rolling. Let's take a gander here at what we could save. And here's one that you're not really going to save anything, but I know you're all calling for it. So here he is, James Bradbury, and we've got some new numbers here. And I cannot believe I didn't say this. My apologies, but numbers are thanks to Over the Cap there. OTC, always try to give them a shout out, so go check that out. But you can see here, 2 years remaining on his contract, 30 years old. Now, cap hit for this year is 4.3. And whatever with his money, all the stuff that moved around, OTC, look, they have the different numbers. The old numbers we were talking about with Spotrac there, with what they had. I try to stick with one. So we're going to just go with what OTC is saying here. But we talked about this money, and, people talk about taking on all that, 17 mil, this, that, the other thing. Look, right now, you're going to be paying more than that. Like, if you were to get rid of him before June 1st, that means all of that money is against your cap. So not only are you losing 10, you're taking the 15 in debt, you're paying the 25, you're paying it all of his damn money that is owed, and he's owed like 36 total, something crazy with over the next couple years. Like, you're going to have to pay all that stuff, dude, his cap, everything. Now, post June 1st, we talk about that, that right there, you take on the dead money Okay, 4.335. I'm more than happy doing that. But what happens is when you get rid of somebody like that and it's post June 1st, all the money that they are owed, that gets prorated through 2 years. So if you cut them in 1 year, it's all that dead money at once. If you cut them after June 1st, you can spread that money out over 2 years. Now, when we looked at it last time and we talked about the post June 1st cut, the money was definitely different there, but I'm going to take their word for it here. And the 4.3, yeah, that's dead money. So you're losing cap by getting rid of him. But keep in mind, you're you're just kind of losing space by having. I don't know how to say that in a nice way, but for me, man, I think you kind of gotta cut your losses here with. And look, I'd love to try to trade him. Only a $2 million loss there, but don't know that's going to happen. So, look, you can try to move on from him, and it won't be that big of a deal, but you are going to have to spread that dead money out. So, yeah, you might only have a little bit here, but you are going to have to pay all that money in the next 2 years. So, however that wants to get spread out, I don't know. But look, for me, you look at, the years, every year we talk about like, oh, man, we're putting dead money on this year. Like, yeah, it's a small dead money this year, but it's like, hey, man, we'll worry about that the next year. And Howie usually has it covered. Like, he's not just doing this like, well, I hope I can figure it out when we get there. Like, the man knows what he's doing. And I think, when we talk about those post June 1st cuts, that right there in itself, you can make 2 of those. So 2 players you can designate where it's in March and you're like, okay, I want to do this. You want to let this guy go do whatever, moving on from him. You can designate them. So therefore, they are off the team, but that stuff doesn't, until June 2nd, that stuff doesn't actually come off of the cap. But you will save that cap and it will help you rather than cutting them before that date, because a lot of guarantees, a lot of roster bonus, all that stuff is, piled in there. So I try to simplify that without making it crazy for you, but there's a lot of stuff that goes into it, but you can get rid of them. Whoever's telling people we can't get rid of them, bold-faced lie. We can. So they will. And I'm hopeful that's what's going to happen. We've got younger pieces here, but get younger in the draft as well. Now, let's take a look at how we can actually save some money. And, I wanted to throw some guys in here just to try to get to 15. I was at like 13. And I wanted to make sure they were over $1 million. Now, Patrick Johnson, the reason I put him on here, I like him. He is actually good depth behind Reddick and Nolan Smith. And he's that tweener piece. He's that outside linebacker, that edge rusher, that, I don't know how much, what kind of defense we're even going to run next year. So who knows what odd even front you're running here, but got to find a position there, whether he's outside linebacker, D end. But, Patrick Johnson, I do like him. My hope is, though, that the Eagles upgrade at that position. Now, I would like to see Brandon Graham have his farewell tour here, bring him back. But Patrick Johnson, you can see it doesn't cost you anything. I mean, $26,000 in dead money, that's nothing, dude. So you're saving a little over $1 million there in cap space, and you get another edge rusher. It's something you could do. He was kind of just a victim. Sorry, Patrick. He's great on special teams. I do like Patrick Johnson. Don't get me wrong, but wanted to make this 15, so he ended up here, and we'll talk about it here again. But I like Patrick Johnson. I wouldn't get rid of him unless you draft somebody. Now, Marlon Tuipulotu, really like this kid. And, we've talked about him. Same amount of money, whether you cut him, trade him post June 1st. These guys still on their rookie contracts, 1 year left. He and Patrick Johnson, same deal. But you can save some money here, not much dead money. But the thing is, I like Marlon Tuipulotu, what he brings to the table as depth there. So I don't know that you let go of him. Just wanted to make him part of the show. And unfortunately, I had to pick between the 2 of those guys. And you'll see at the end the 10 ways to create space. But, you see, you can save money in a plethora of ways so far here. Now, we've got the last 5 here. Went through those 10. And look, if you're, again, trying to add this up, you're probably like, where is it? Here comes the big money, I promise you. But here's a guy. Now, here's a guy you're not going to trade or cut, but you could save money doing it. My hope is that you extend him. Please, for the love of God, keep Milton Williams together with Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis. I think that those 3, oh, yeah, bright future together. So final year of his contract, I would look to extend him. If somebody comes calling and they trade him, I'm going to be pissed. I know you can save a little bit of money, but I don't care. He doesn't cost you much, and I think he's got a very bright future still. So for me, extend him. Doesn't save you any cap, but it ensures you lock him up for the future, and I'm all about that, ladies and gentlemen. Now, Josh Sweat, my man, he kind of fell off a cliff there at the end of the year, but to be fair, so did this entire effing team. So, Sweat, my man, love this young man, and he is only 26 years old, but 1 year remaining on that contract. So, you can see now you're not going to be cutting or trading him before June 1st because nope. But post June 1st, you could cut your losses. I don't know why you do that. You could trade again. You're not really no real movement on the cap there. What I'm doing, I'm extending Josh Sweat. That's what I'm doing right here, right now. You could restructure him, same amount of money. So if he doesn't feel like being extended and just wants to restructure that, okay. Now, saving that $2.5 million, you're going to drop his cap hit to about $7.5 million. So sign me up, baby. I'm all aboard. And look, I am a true fan of Josh Sweat. Love to see him get that sack in that playoff game because he hadn't had a sack like the entire second half of the season. So kind of sucked, but yikes. Now we're down to the top three, ladies and gentlemen, and these are the big spenders, the big ballers. So we're going to get some money up in here, but let me take a gander where we're at. How he wants to maintain power and control of drafting and managing the cap. Yes, that is what a general manager does. That's why he's training wheel coaches. Oh, somebody's confused, I think. No, definitely not. You saw how great he did, but I understand that the media's got a lot of people confused how this stuff works, but that's what shows like this are for, to help people out. And yeah, the GM usually does the job of the GM, so if that's a surprise to you, I would stop listening to whoever's telling you that stuff, man. Yep, and thank you, Dank. But yeah, Lori is the one who is the boss here, ladies and gentlemen, but Howie's going to be the general manager. Like when you go to a McDonald's and you're like, I want to speak to the manager. You're not like, I want to speak to the owner. Like, he's going to do things, but there are things the owner, like, whatever, man. It's crazy. But no, we want a good coach. I know a lot of the fans are saying, like, don't get good coordinators because if you get a good coordinator, they get jobs as coaches, but you can't be good. But if you're good, then you're bad. What? The confusion out there is insane, but hey, that's what these shows are for. But just showed you there about Bradbury. And I don't know, man. I think that you've already got a pretty crowded room. Maybe they do keep him. You could restructure it, but I don't know, man. We're going to see what we do. I would like to add to this room, and I think we talked about Isaiah Rodgers is coming back. Zach McPherson's coming back. And, you've got Ringo, you've got Ricks, you've got a lot of promising young men here. So we'll see what they decide to do. But you can check out all of the names you missed there, but we'll look at the top 10 at the end there. He sure is, man. Love that dude. Need Milton Williams here. Please, 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 please. And I think they will, man. But hey, you never know. You never know. We're trading God over Travis. Yeah, no doubt. No, we're not saying that. Not at all. Milt definitely should stay. He should stay. Please, 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 please. But go Birds. Now, let's check out this top three. And this is the money makers here, ladies and gentlemen. And I know certain people are going to feel a certain way about this one. But Avonte Maddox here. And cap hit of $9.6 million. Now, I know a lot of people talking about getting rid of him. And if you get him with that post June 1st, you see right here that really you would save around $5 million in cap space. So you could save some money. But another way that you could save around $5 million is by restructuring him, giving him, one last year here, show what he does. Obviously, you've got Isaiah Rodgers and Zach McPherson, I just mentioned. But look, competition, I'm all about it. And Isaiah Rodgers can play outside too. We need depth here, right? And especially at nickel, which was where we were hurting. So I'll take all the players I can get there. But if you can bring him down to around $5 million, and look, he's somebody that can help you as a safety as well. And maybe not the greatest of games being thrown in the fire there, that wild card game, but I like Avonte Maddox a lot. Love the fire he plays with. I hate that, he's been banged up a little. People always bring that up. Look, a healthy Avonte Maddox, I'm all on board for. So restructure that, man. get him down to around 5 million, keep him around, then I'm all about it. And that way you don't have to get rid of some of these pieces. And if you do draft someone, they can help groom, the next, them. So we'll see. But Avonte Maddox, you could save almost 5 million there. Now, Kevin Byard, you can save almost 10 million with him. Now, you could cut him. You could trade him after you just, traded for him. I don't know that you would want to do that, but you can save a nice chunk of change. But again, keep in mind, I'm not telling you guys a lot of this like future stuff that is going to impact you. So not only are you, oh, okay, well, who cares? Cut your losses. Sure, it might seem like that, but if you're doing something, cutting a Byard, it might seem like you're not doing much, and honestly, he doesn't have that much, like when it comes to dead money in the future years. Like you could do that stuff, but for me, he's a veteran, 30 years old. He's still, I need a veteran here. Sidney Brown, I'm very excited about, but Reed, he's a depth piece. You got to draft a safety there. I think, improve this room, but I would keep him around, and you can see how you can get him to around 4.5, 5 million cap hit by just restructuring him or extending him. He's got 1 year left. So if you want to get something more out of, that trade you made, you could do that. But I would honestly just try to restructure him because, again, you just traded for him. I know he definitely had his times where it was, but this defense was just, like nobody seemed to be on the same page. I think there was just a lot of confusion, and, you'll lose some money next year if you would restructure him around $1 million, and then the next year around 500K. So it's really not a big deal. Do it, man. Save yourself some money. I think Howie will definitely be making this move. So expect to see Kevin Byard restructured or extended. Now for the final move here, Mr. Hassan Reddick. Now he's going into his final year of his contract and got a pretty big cap hit there. 21,877,000. Oh boy, 29 years old. And look, I love Hassan Reddick. Do not get me wrong, but they drafted Nolan Smith to hopefully be his predecessor. But again, as we talked about then, I think Nolan Smith needs a lot of work, and he's been getting that development. We're hopeful, that he gets better this year and continues to grow. And you never know, maybe he takes over. But what if, Hassan Reddick wants to retire here? So maybe you could extend him, or in his final year, you could just have him restructure that and bring his cap hit down to around 10 million. So you're cutting that bad boy down by more than a half. And sure, you could try to trade him and save yourself around that 11 million, get something in return for him rather than letting him walk next year. So I don't know, man. It really would wait to see how you do in free agency, the draft. I would wait before you move on from him. But if you're looking, you want to keep him around, whoever you're drafting, you want, a strong rotation, which is what I want, then you go right ahead and you restructure, man. So that right there, I just showed you 15 ways that they can do things there, but I'm going to show you a recap of the 10 things that I told you I would actually do and show you how I'll do, a little math here for you and show you exactly how we can save almost $40 million in cap space, have this bad boy around $69 million in cap space. So nice. Now, let's take a gander here. A little recap, and it's in order of how much you are saving here. So you can see restructuring Reddick. Yes. Restructure Byard. Oh, yeah. Restructure Maddox. Restructure Mailata. Oh, yeah. Now, I don't know why I put restructure. Extend Josh Sweat is what that should say, but it was the same amount of money, so still works. Dallas Goedert. Go ahead, restructure him. Go ahead and do the same for Jake Elliott. Extend Devontae and Dickerson. Save yourself around $2.5 million. And then Patrick Johnson just happened to be the victim there. It was either he or Marlon Tuipulotu. But you see right there, just looking at the 37.8, it would probably go over if I'd put all the numbers in, around 38 million. But you could make some other moves. Again, maybe they trade, Avonte Maddox or something like that, and that saves you a few more. So you could have 40 million almost. So, whew, pretty wild stuff there, ladies and gentlemen. And Howie, he's a true magician. And I know a lot of people get caught up with all the lies out there, and it's always, somebody's got to whine about somebody's got to be fired. So I get it, but this is what these shows are for. I try to help people understand that, those people talking about that stuff truly don't know what they are talking about. So I hope you enjoyed all that, man. That's a a lot of valuable information for you there. Past few days trying to put out what I can to get you guys ready for this off season. So we'll see. Be crazy, but even I know that's not true. Oh, the Kelsey, yeah. If they draft better than they already have, holy hell. But yeah, they've been awesome at drafting. Try to save up money in case. As I've said, at the beginning of the show, you could get money to, trade for some of those big names I was talking about. KB's a great leader. But yeah, I think a year with the DC and get everybody on the same page. Yeah, I'm all about keeping him. But if they ever cut Reddick, they're not going to do that. This is the final year of his contract, so that wouldn't make sense to do. But, if they wanted to try to trade anything like that, it would really depend on who you drafted, but I wouldn't do that. Yes, extend Dickerson, Devontae, Milton Williams, please. McNabb, well, that's good. Who knows how much he's been drinking, so you got to be careful with what he's saying. But I'm not getting rid of Byard. No thanks. For the love of God, please make these 10 moves. Yeah. So you see right there, 40 million. And look, for you sickos, that's what this information's for. I know we've got some trolls jumping in here that are offended. Look, I get it, man. Look, it's whatever's in life going on. It's misery. This show is for us that want to come here and escape. We love our Eagles. We don't care that you have no idea how the cap works. You hate everyone. Everyone needs to be fired. Dog, we don't care. I can promise you. So breaking this bad boy down, tomorrow is Sicko Sunday. So go watch all those shows. The Stay or Go for all the free agents. The Stay or Go with all the coaches. The 66 coaching candidates. Gather some information. Go see all the draft picks the Eagles have. The cap space the Eagles have. And then come see me tomorrow. Sicko Sunday live. And I'm looking to go around, I think, 2:30, 3 o'clock. So hope to see you then. Bring all your questions, all your comments, and we'll be breaking it down. And don't worry, I'll have you. And go watch Sicko Sunday. That video right there, the past one, that was filled with all the things that are, or Sicko Season, I think it just was. Maybe it was on a Tuesday. But it was all the things that are going to be happening this offseason. So you have an idea of what is coming your way. And it's a lot because it's, Sicko season. So for you sickos, I truly appreciate you. If you have any questions, anything on your mind, you can always ask down below after the video's over. You're thinking about it later. Oh, damn, you're watching this later. You want to be part of the show, comment away. I'm always down to talk some birds, baby. But what a crazy week it has been. I hope you all had yourselves a crazy week. I'm going to try to relax a little bit at some point today, get to all the comments, all the great stuff you guys have been throwing my way. Truly loving it that you aren't jumping ship. Look, we bleed green in these parts. It's win, lose, or tie, bleed green until I die. And we're going to talk about all the things that, obviously Howie did fantastic last year. We all know that, anyone with a brain. But, we just need to continue to not only build how we were with the roster, but get the coaches that can maximize the talent here. So we talked about all those coaches, and we'll talk about once they, announce who's still here, who isn't, where we need to go from there. So I'll keep you up to date with everything. But if you need anything before that, you can always reach out. But have yourselves a fantastic weekend, ladies and gentlemen. Seriously, I know it's crappy weather, but make the most of it. I know it sucks. Like, I want to win some money, but I don't even want to watch these games. I'm so pissed off. But just suppress it. Watch these shows, and we'll pretend it didn't happen. But until next time, I am Jimmy Smith, and this is On the Road to Victory. Hope you all have yourselves a great weekend. Stay safe out there, and as always, say it with me now, go Birds!